You may be eating something today that is silently killing your liver. Yes, that's right. No pain, no visible signs, just a constant wear and tear happening inside you. And the scary thing is, it's not coming from exotic or hard to find foods. It's coming from what you eat for breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snacks. It's coming from what's in your fridge right now. We are talking about fatty liver, or hepatic steatosis, a silent but extremely dangerous problem that affects millions of people. Mainly adults and the elderly, and then that can develop into hepatitis, cirrhosis, or even liver cancer if not treated in time. The worst part, it often doesn't show any symptoms until it is in an advanced stage. By the time the person discovers it, their liver is already compromised. The good news is that the liver has an incredible capacity for regeneration, but for this to happen, you need to stop hurting it. And today, you'll find out which are the 4 foods that are most harmful to your liver, and that many people consume without even realizing the risk. At the end, I'll also show you a bonus food that can help your liver recover naturally, simply, and healthily. This video was made especially for you who are concerned about your health and want to age well, with energy and vitality. If you have ever had fatty liver, or have abnormal exams, or simply want to prevent major problems, this content can make a real difference in your life. And before we continue, check if you are already subscribe to the channel. Here you will find direct, serious, and straightforward content focused on health, nutrition, and well-being. Always focused on those who really want to take care of their body and mind in an intelligent way. Now, let's get to the point. The first food on the list may seem harmless, but it is one of the most dangerous precisely because it is present in the quick and practical meals that many people adopt on a daily basis. And if you are the type of person who likes a sandwich, a roll, or an easy snack, pay extra attention. No 3. Chapter 1, Food. Number 4, Processed Meats. You get home tired, open the fridge, and see that package of sausage, ham, or salami. It's practical, quick, and easy. Just throw it in the frying pan or on bread, and the meal is ready. But what you may not know is that these foods are among the biggest villains for your liver health. Processed meats, such as sausage, ham, mortadella, salami, and other processed meats, are rich in saturated fats. Excess sodium, and dangerous chemical additives such as nitrites and nitrates. These components not only inflame the liver, but can also contribute to the accumulation of fat and the progressive weakening of this essential organ. To help you understand better, the liver works like a filtering center. Everything we eat passes through it. When you consume ultra-processed food with artificial preservatives and low-quality fat, you're giving the liver more work to do, and it is not a tireless machine. These chemical additives present in sausages have been associated in several studies with an increased risk of chronic liver disease. In a diet that frequently consumes these meats, the liver faces constant overload. Over time, this generates chronic inflammation, which is the basis of hepatic steatosis. Another important point, excess sodium. It causes fluid retention, increased blood pressure, and directly harms blood circulation in the liver. In the elderly who already have a natural reduction in metabolic efficiency, the effects can be even more severe. And that's not all. These meats are often combined with other problematic foods, such as processed breads and soft drinks, creating a dangerous combo for the entire body, but especially for the liver. A common mistake is to think that these options are just a detail in the diet, but when you add up the ham for breakfast, the sausage for the hot dog at night, and the sausage on the weekend, the damage happens cumulatively and silently. Now you might be wondering, but what am I going to eat instead? The good news is that there are simple and affordable substitutions. Fresh meats are the best choice. Chicken breast, lean ground beef, boiled or scrambled eggs with olive oil, natural tuna without oil, and even leftovers from last night's dinner can serve as great sources of protein. For example, you can prepare a larger batch of grilled chicken and store it in the fridge to make snacks or quick meals during the week. What processed meat lacks nutritional quality, fresh meat makes up for. Plus, you avoid toxic additives and give your liver a break. An extra tip, if you buy prepackaged meats, always read the label. Avoid products with strange names, long lists of ingredients, or lots of preservatives. The simpler and more natural, the better. And remember, it's not about never eating something for pleasure again. The problem is how often you eat it. If these foods appear on your plate every day, it's Time to rethink. Your liver may be suffering without you feeling anything now, but the price will come later. As we've seen, processed meats are dangerous because they disguise themselves as everyday foods. They're everywhere and are seen as normal, but just because they're common doesn't mean they're safe. And speaking of disguise, the next item on our list is even more treacherous. After all, it's liquid, cold, sweet, and gives the sensation of freshness, but inside, it's pure poison for your liver. Chapter 2. Food. Number 3. Soft drinks and industrialized juices. They are refreshing, sweet, pleasant to the palate, and are present on almost every table. Soft drinks and industrialized juices. They seem harmless, but these liquids are a direct attack on your liver, especially when consumed frequently. Let's be blunt, these drinks are loaded with refined sugar, and even worse, they're often sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, a type of sugar that's only metabolized in the liver. This means that all that excess fructose goes straight to the liver, overloading it and stimulating fat production. The result? The infamous fatty liver. And don't even think that the zero or light version is safe. These versions replace sugar with artificial sweeteners such as aspartame, sucralose, or acesulfame K, which also have a negative impact on the liver and metabolism. Many studies have shown that these compounds alter the intestinal flora, affect insulin sensitivity, and harm liver health in the long term. Furthermore, these drinks have no real nutritional value. They don't nourish you, they don't satisfy you, and worst of all, they cause spikes in blood sugar levels and stimulate even more cravings for sweets or carbohydrates, creating a vicious cycle that punishes your liver day after day. You might think, oh, but it's just 1 glass a day. But think about it, 1 glass of soda or juice from a carton a day is equivalent to, on average, 35 to 40 teaspoons of sugar per week. It's as if you're feeding your liver fat without even realizing it, and this habit is more common than it seems. Many people swap water for fruit juices bought at the store, thinking they are making a healthy choice. However, these juices are, most of the time, made up of water, sugar, and artificial flavoring. Very little fruit and a lot of traps for the liver. Now, let's look at the practical solutions. Always prefer water as your main drink. Try lemon water or unsweetened iced. Tea. If you want juice, choose natural juice diluted with water without adding sugar. And when you feel like something sweet, a beetroot juice with lemon can, in addition to being tasty, help cleanse your liver. And we'll talk more about this at the end of the video. And if you're enjoying the content so far, please like the video. This will help the channel grow and reach more people who need to take care of their liver health. Take the opportunity to comment below. Do you often drink juice from a carton or soda? Now, speaking of habits that seem harmless but cause silent damage, the next food on the list is present in practically every bakery, breakfast, and afternoon snack. It's cute, tasty, and almost irresistible, but it's also one of your liver's biggest enemies. Chapter 3. Food. Number 2. Industrial bakery products. Who can resist a warm loaf of bread in the morning, a stuffed biscuit in the afternoon, or a ready-made cake with coffee? These foods are part of many people's daily lives, especially those who grew up eating bread with butter or a biscuit during their break. The problem is that this apparent innocence can cost your liver dearly. Industrial bakery products, sliced bread, bagels, toast, cookies, ready-made cakes, and the like are loaded with ingredients that inflame the body, generate glucose spikes, and contribute to the accumulation of fat in the liver. The most dangerous trio here is formed by highly refined white flour trans and hydrogenated fats. Hidden sugars. Let's start with white flour. When refined, it loses practically all of its nutrients, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What's left is a highly glycemic powder that quickly turns into sugar in the blood and requires extra effort from the liver to process. Now think about how this happens in your body. You eat a slice of bread for breakfast, then a cookie for a snack, maybe a muffin at night. It may not seem like much, but your body interprets all of this as excess simple carbohydrates, which end up being converted into fat, and much of this fat accumulates in the liver. The second culprit is trans fats, which are still present in many processed foods despite restrictions in many countries. They not only increase bad cholesterol, but also promote chronic liver inflammation. In other words, it's not just a question of calories, it's a question of the quality of the fat you consume. And let's not forget about hidden sugars. Even savory products such as sliced Bread and toast often contain sugar to improve flavor and increase shelf life. It often appears under names such as glucose syrup, maltodextrin, dextrose, or simply total carbohydrate on the label. These ingredients accumulate silently. And since the liver is the organ that processes and stores excess glucose, it is the one that suffers first. Over time, this constant consumption of processed foods with refined flour, bad fats, and hidden sugars creates a perfect environment for hepatic steatosis. And why does this affect older people so much? Because our metabolism slows down as we age. Our bodies no longer process nutrients as efficiently, and our livers become more vulnerable to any overload. That's why what used to be a guilt-free snack can become a real risk factor. Now, let's look at practical solutions, because there is always a way out. Replace white bread with real whole grain bread, naturally leavened or made with grains and seeds. Make homemade cakes with oatmeal, eggs, banana, cinnamon, and other healthy options. Swap out cookies for nuts, unsweetened dried fruit, or even plain yogurt with oats. Read labels and be wary of ingredients you don't recognize. And you don't have to give up on flavor. Nowadays, there are dozens of simple and healthy recipes that you can prepare at home or find in bakeries that focus on conscious eating. The idea is not to cut out everything completely, but rather to reduce the frequency of processed foods and increase the presence of real foods on your plate. Your liver will thank you, and you will feel the difference in your energy, digestion, and even in your blood tests. Now tell me in the comments, which of these processed foods do you consume most in your daily life? Is it sliced bread, cookies, ready-made cake? Comment below. This will help me understand your habits better and produce even more useful videos for you. And speaking of foods that hide in our daily lives, the next item on the list, perhaps the most treacherous of all. It is present in practically every Brazilian kitchen and is used for frying, sautéing, cooking, and it looks normal. But when heated, it releases toxins that are extremely harmful to your liver. Chapter 4. Food number 1. Refined vegetable oils. You use it to prepare rice, fry eggs, and sauté meat. It's present in almost every kitchen, in snack packets, in ready-made seasonings, and even in salads, without you even realizing it. We're talking about refined vegetable oils such as soybean, corn, canola, sunflower, and cottonseed oils. Common ingredients that pose one of the biggest silent threats to your liver's health. These oils are industrially processed with chemical solvents, high temperatures, and additives that extend their shelf life. And this refining process transforms the oil into something very different from what nature created. It loses nutrients, oxidizes easily, and becomes highly inflammatory for the body. You might be wondering, but isn't it vegetable fat? Isn't it better than animal fat? This is one of the biggest myths in modern nutrition. Refined oils, despite the vegetable name, are rich in excess omega-6, a type of fat that, in large quantities, unbalances the body and causes chronic inflammation. And where does the liver fit into this? All the fat you consume needs to be processed by the liver. When this fat is of poor quality, such as the oxidized fatty acids found in these oils, the liver goes into alert mode. It tries to neutralize these substances, but over time, this continuous effort causes oxidative stress, inflammation, and the accumulation of liver fat. Now imagine, you fry, heat this oil in a pan. What happens? It degrades even further, releasing toxic compounds such as aldehydes and lipid peroxides, which are absorbed by the body and cause direct cellular damage to the liver. Not to mention the processed foods made with these oils, snacks, cookies, ready-made sauces, frozen foods. The liver receives daily doses of oxidized fat without respite. But perhaps the most insidious thing is that these oils are seen as normal, as part of our daily routine. They don't have a strong taste, they don't have an unpleasant smell, and they are cheap. That's why they are so widely used at home and in the food industry. But the real price appears later, in altered blood tests, in diagnosed steatosis, in the feeling of chronic fatigue that many ignore. So what should you do? Give up? All forms of oil? No. The answer lies in choosing better and understanding how and when to use each type of fat. See some safe and effective alternatives. Extra virgin olive oil, excellent for use raw in salads or to finish dishes. Rich in antioxidants, it protects the liver. Coconut oil, more heat stable, ideal for sautéing or cooking over medium heat. Ghee butter, clarified, great for grilling and preparing eggs, as long as used in moderation. Avoid frying whenever possible. Opt for baking, steaming, or using a non-stick frying pan with little fat. Also, reduce your consumption of processed foods with vegetable oils hidden in the ingredients list. A careful reading of the label will open your eyes. Often that baked snack, wholemeal bread, or light biscuit is full of soybean or sunflower oil even if the taste doesn't give it away. Another important point, do not reheat oil that has already been used once. Each time you heat it again, it degrades further and releases even more toxic substances. A common practice in homes and restaurants is to use the same oil multiple times, and this is extremely dangerous. And if you're thinking, but I only use a little bit of fat a day, understand that the problem isn't just the quantity, but the consistency and quality of the fat. The liver feels it. Even small daily doses of bad fat cause long-term damage. Now think about it. If you eat well, take care of your hydration, sleep well, but continue to use an inflammatory oil every day, you are sabotaging your own efforts. It's like tending a garden and pouring poison into the roots. So next time you cook, make an informed choice. Changing your oil is a huge step toward a healthier liver. Your body will respond, your energy will soar, and your routine tests will start to improve. And speaking of improving liver health, now that you know what to avoid, it's time to discover the bonus food that can help the liver regenerate naturally in an accessible and practical way, and that many people have at home, but don't give it the due value. Bonus tip, the food that helps the liver regenerate. After learning about the 4 foods that silently destroy the liver, many people ask themselves, okay, I know what to avoid, but is there anything I can do to help my liver recover? The answer is yes, and the best part is that you don't need to spend a lot on supplements or fancy recipes. There is a simple, accessible, cheap food that is often forgotten in markets and supermarkets that can be a great ally for your liver. Beetroot. Beets are rich in betaine, a compound that helps protect liver cells, fight inflammation, and facilitate the elimination of toxins. In addition, they are an excellent source of fiber, antioxidants, and natural nitrates, which help with circulation and overall liver metabolism. You can eat it raw, grated in salads, cooked, or in juice, preferably with freshly squeezed lemon to enhance the antioxidant effects. A powerful suggestion is to drink beetroot juice with lemon on an empty stomach 2 to 3 times a week. Simple and effective. This small habit can make a big difference, especially if combined with the reduction in unhealthy foods that we discussed in the previous chapters. And if this content has helped you so far, like the video right now. This way you show YouTube that this topic is important and help me spread this message to more people who need to take care of their liver health. In the next and final section, we'll tie together everything we've seen and reinforce why taking care of your liver is one of the smartest decisions you can make for your health. Take care of your liver, take care of your life. Now that you've made it this far, you know that small daily choices can have big impacts, both positive and negative, on your liver health. Remembering, processed meats inflict a heavy load of bad fat and chemical additives. Drinks and processed juices flood the liver with fructose and artificial sweeteners. Industrial baked goods are overloaded with refined flour, trans fat, and hidden sugar. And refined vegetable oils, so common in kitchens, are constant sources of liver inflammation. But on the other hand, we have seen that the liver has an enormous power of regeneration. By removing these aggressors and including protective foods such as beets, you will already be taking a real and concrete step towards improving your health. This video isn't just about nutrition, it's about awareness, about knowing what we put on our plates and how it directly influences our energy, mood, longevity, and quality of life. If you want to continue learning how to take better care of your body in a simple, clear, and effective way, subscribe to the channel now. Here the focus is to provide you with practical knowledge based on science and aimed at those who want to live longer and better. And remember, your liver works for you all the time, silently. Now it's your turn to repay that effort with smarter, more careful choices. Thank you very much for following this far. Take care of your liver. Take care of your life.